That's what I think she said. I'm nervous.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started so we can stay on track. Are both your mics working? Okay. Our next presentation is my favorite presentation today, which is our survivor panel. I'm very honored to have two survivors with us today, and they are also two of our first clients here at the Human Trafficking Clinic at Case Western Reserve. So I want to thank them very much for doing this, because this takes a lot of courage and bravery on their part to come and speak to us about the path that they've taken to get to this place. On to my immediate right is Annette, and next to her is Rachel. And I'm going to moderate the panel, and then I'm also going to open it up to questions. And for folks in the overhead room, when I do open it up to questions, if you want to just come down rather than sending questions down. So I'm going to start with asking Annette and Rachel to share a little bit about how they got started down the path of being human trafficking victims into the road of prostitution. And I'll throw it to Annette first.
Hi, as she said, my name is Annette. I started prostitution from, I'm also an addict. So I have dual things going on with me. And I worked a full-time job. I have a son. I started working 2 and 3 jobs to keep the bills up, to keep everything going. I call myself a collar worker because I did work for the government. So, but one thing I did do is I hid it to where it progressed. Only person knew about it was my son. And the reason why my son knew about my addiction was because he was my only child, and I never wanted him to come home and see me doing what I was doing. My son is 33 now, so he was, when my progressing got to the age, he was like 15 or 16. And he was always at his dad's house, so I never raised him. I always had him go over his father's house, which I thought I was being a good mom because he didn't see what I was doing. He had a good house, he had everything he wanted, and that's what everybody else seen too. So that's why everybody thought I was doing so good. I blame not having a relationship on, I didn't want nobody else to raise my son. I didn't want another man in the house to raise my son, so I was undercover. But then my job started taking drug tests. And if you got in an accident, somebody hit me. I had a job that I had a car and everything, but somebody hit me. I was too ashamed. Matter of fact, I believe about 10 minutes before I got in the car, I had used drugs. And so I would have had to go see the doctor right away. So instead of doing that, I act like I resigned. Oh, I can't do it, I resigned, I don't need this job, because I was too ashamed. I did not know that on my job, I could have asked for help. I was too gone. Help wasn't in the problem. I didn't want help, to tell you the truth. I wanted to do what I was doing. So after that happened, I ran out of money. I was always told I was pretty. I used to see it. I grew up in poverty, around. So I used to see girls out on the streets. So I did it. I got what I wanted, and I did what I had to do. So that's how I got in the life of prostitution.
Hi, my name's Rachel. The way I got into life was this guy that I met. He played as my boyfriend. I thought he was an attorney. Isn't that funny? I was 16 years old, and he took me to a house on the west side of Akron. It was a big house. And he said, this could all be yours. Now I'm 16 years old. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know, you know. So I was amused by this. He said, come stay the weekend. I packed one little bag like I was staying the night over at my girlfriend's house. I remember as I stood out on the side of my mom and dad's house, I remember looking at my mom and dad's bushes as the sun hit the leaves on the bushes, and I kept looking up at the door, thinking that my dad was going to swing the door open and call my name. And he pulled up, and I got in the car. And as I looked behind at my mom and dad's house, I didn't see them for 5 years. That was the last I saw them, because he took me to a truck stop off the Niles exit in Austintown called the 76 truck stop, and he hid me away out there. And there was, Austintown police had me. They arrested me, but I had somebody's name, somebody's social security number, and they was of age, an adult, and the police let me go. And that police officer was so cold and so mean to me. He treated me like I wanted to be there. So although I was scared too, there was no connection to where I could feel anything. And then a serial killer came out to the truck stops back in the 80s. I don't know if you guys remember any of that, where a truck driver was strangling the girls and dumping them off on the side of the highway. I was in all that. But my pimp, if I got caught, he would wait till I got in the shower, came out of the shower, yanked me up, and beat me with a leather strap while I was wet. Because the simple fact, if I got caught by the police, I didn't have his money. There was some times that I would be out in the truck stop 2 nights in a row until I got his money. And when I would hitchhike on the side of the highway, I was out there in pitch dark when he would drop me off at the Gilchrist exit. And no matter how I would get in there, I would get in that truck stop. And then when the police got bad out there, he took me across state lines to the streets of New York, and he turned me out to the streets of Manhattan, and I was out there for a couple years. He also took me to Pittsburgh, Atlantic City, Jersey.
Rachel, why don't you talk about when you first got to New York?
New York, I was out there. He kept me out there for a week straight. I didn't know what was going on. He just came by and would take the money. I fell asleep standing up against a bus or up against a van, and the New York police came up to me and said, hey ho, go wash your nasty ass. And I was so humiliated and embarrassed. I didn't understand. Yeah. And, I don't mean to say this, but I wish that time somebody would pick me up and get me in the car because my feet felt like there was cement blocks on them just from walking around in the high heels he made me put on. Yeah.
What was your life like then once you were kind of in the life? And I know it was different for both of you as far as where did you sleep? Like, how did you find food? How did you deal with just the basic necessities of life? And Annette, we'll start with you again.
I didn't eat. My drug addiction had got so bad, I didn't eat. When I did eat, it was, at the time, I didn't know they were my Johns. I thought they were my friends, guys that cared. They said, oh, come on, let's go. I mean, I went to nice places to eat because I thought I was all that because I didn't realize I had a problem. I only started hanging around people that drank, people, they didn't do what I did, but at least they drank, and they drank way more than I did, so I thought they was the ones with the problems. I would sleep at their house. I remember my sister had a friend that lived in the projects, and she bettered her life, and she didn't want to live in the projects no more, so she rented her place out to me for less money. So I thought I was still doing good because I had my own place, a 2-bedroom, where I only had to pay $50. She only had to pay $100, she charged me $50. So I didn't think I was homeless. I had a house, I had a 2-bedroom. She left her furniture, so I had furniture. So that's how I first started. But believe me, from there forward, I was 35 when I actually started walking the streets. I slept in some places that, let's say, I didn't even know they was abandoned. I wouldn't come out for, long as I stayed in somewhere, it was for 6 weeks, and I didn't come out of them because they had everything I needed in there. Drug dealers, they had electric, they had everything, but it was just the same people like me that was in there, and until the police came by one time and said, hey, we turning out the lights and the gas, and I'm like, huh? I thought I was living the life. I would go and wash my clothes and stuff, but I didn't have money. I had drugs, and that's all I needed. I came up. I didn't have to leave the apartment because, don't forget, I was fresh. If you go to a fresh atmosphere, if you go to a fresh street, if you go to a west side and come up to the east side, places that people haven't seen you so much, oh, you was the best thing that was kicking it. And that was me. I haven't had my own place. I don't know what it is to live on my own. I know how to live with somebody on their terms and to get beat and everything. So it was always a cost. I ain't talking about rent. They don't want rent. Because you did what they said and when they said it. I pass.
What your life was like? If you stayed in one place or you moved around, like how did you sleep? Where'd you sleep?
He constantly moved me around. At first, because I was underage, But he didn't get me hooked on drugs until I was like 20-something. Yeah. But back then it was freebase, and then it turned into crack. Yeah. And I would always stop at those little delis in New York and hurry up and get something, and then hurry up and eat it before he would hit the corner. But I remember one time I ended up passing out and waking up in the hospital because I wasn't getting enough food or drink, and my kidneys almost went out. So I called him at the hotel that we stayed at in Jersey on Tunnelly Avenue. And he said, B, I advise you to discharge yourself. So New York Hospital made me sign a release that if I died, they wouldn't be responsible for me. So I pulled my IVs out and I left. And because I was so scared of him. And I did that a couple times. And there was times where I slept in Grand Central Station, in parks, in the caves of the subway. I ended up getting scabies that way. I ended up sleeping on subways, and the police would come by and hit me with their billy clubs on the bottom of my feet. I slept in doorways. I slept in a lot of places. I slept in cars, freezing. Yeah.
As you can see, this is such a difficult topic, and I want to thank both of you again. They both really said that they felt that they wanted you to understand, though, what this type of life was like, and so I really want to thank them again for their courage. Another thing that I've talked about with them, and that kind of came up today, was how your interactions were with, and Rachel kind of just touched on it, what your interactions were like with police officers, because that's something we've talked about, which is, I think we're just barely scratching the surface of trying to make them understand and see human trafficking victims as victims instead of criminals. So I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about what your experiences were and your interactions were.
Well, mine was, they was my Johns. Police started to be my Johns. They would say, I'm a man. They would say, this police officer is a job, I have to do my job. But when I'm off, I'm a man. And I used to see some of them before they went to work. I used to see some of them after they got off of work. Some would stop me and tell me to meet them over there or meet them over here. I had some that sit up there and say, you do what I say or I'll take you to jail. They'd show me the badge. I knew what a fake badge was. These were real. And then when I see them, when I got caught and stuff and went down there, I would see that car down there, down at the Justice Center and stuff, you know. I would see them, and then when I look at them, they would act like they didn't know who I was, and I didn't tell because I knew I was going right back on the same block when they let me go. So I never told, they never told, they'll see me again, and I was still theirs. They cheap too, they pay real cheap. You know, because it's like, who is gonna tell? Or when I see you, I got you. So they said they was a man, and then you had the ones that, they see you every day. They know what you were doing. I didn't ever understand. But you can see the same guy out there. You knew what they was doing, but you would keep stopping me, but you wouldn't keep stopping the dope dealers. You wouldn't keep stopping them, but you want to take me to jail, but you want to just say, oh, somebody else is there to get them. If you wasn't a task force there to stop the drugs, what was you there for? Only to bother me. You know, so they became, I loved them when I got tired. When I got tired, I loved them. They was my best friend. I say, I'll tell you what you want to know, just take me to jail, because that's how tired I got. So that was my relationship with the police.
Let me see. My relationship with the police, I had some good relationship in New York, because some were connected with my dad. I had some bad relationship with New York police. I had a sergeant in New Jersey where I had sex with him, and I controlled the whole strip where it was mine to work at on Tunnelly Avenue. Pittsburgh, I'll never forget an incident where it was my 18th birthday, and I was with a John, and where the Heinz ketchup is, in that parking lot, that very parking lot, yes, I'm gonna tell you. I pulled up right there, and there was a big mud puddle, and I said to the guy, I said, gosh, that would be terrible if somebody fell in that mud puddle. And all of a sudden I turned like this, and I felt his car move like that. And my gut feel, my heart sunk, because I knew something was wrong. Because I actually looked at him, and I was like, wait, this guy's like 400 pounds. And then I looked like that, and a guy had a rope getting ready to fling my door open to choke me. So I kicked my door open, and what had happened was, as I got out, jumped out the car, he pulled the back of me, he grabbed me, and I fell backwards into the mud puddle. But anyways, I got my stuff, because when I started screaming, a car came in, flashing their lights, honking their horn, asking me if I was all right, and they took off. So this was in February, on my birthday, my 18th birthday. I'm walking back over to the bridge to go downtown, Pittsburgh. And one of the oldest cops pulls over, and he says, what are you doing? I said, I just got attacked. I'm covered in blood and everything. And he says, well, you know what this tells you. I said, plus it's my birthday. He says, well, happy birthday. He says, well, this is your Christmas, or your birthday gift to you. And he says, this is what you get for being out here. And I said, are you gonna do anything? And he goes, no, because you wanna be out here. And he drove off and left me. And I just started crying. And I just limped back downtown where I was going. And Pittsburgh cops were mean to me. They all thought that I just wanted to be out there. And yeah.
Another thing that I know that we've talked about before is I think something that definitely I didn't have an understanding of, and maybe it goes back to some of the misperceptions, like from Pretty Woman, where Julia Roberts has her little best friend and her little buddies that hang around on the street together, is how lonely was the life out there? Did you have friends? Did you talk to, or did you have close friends that also were prostituting themselves along with you? How close were those friendships? What was it like as far as being lonely or having people to talk to?
It was devastating. It was devastating. It really was. You'll be my best friend for a minute. I'll see another girl out there and we'll do drugs together. And but it seemed like to me, it's like we both work in the streets. So we used to, I called and I said, let's get a tag team going. And the tag team to me was like, hey, when I'm tired, you bring me the drugs, you out there, and when you get tired, I'll go. But it seemed like I'm the only one was always out there. It seemed like they would just, and I'm telling you, I ran through a lot of girls like that because I got tired of being the one to keep having to go out there. But they be done went out there, and they would be then shared theirs with the other people and everything, and I get nothing, or they'll say they went. I tried, but when I thought I was a veteran out there, I was just somebody else's drug, and then the dope dealers. I used to didn't understand until I came and started talking about what was going on, because I've been to every hotel it has been, and somebody will see me out there and they'll say, hey, you need a room? You need to get a room, you know? And I be done sign my soul to them, because they say, all you gotta do is when you make some money, spend the money with me. And if they got somebody, they was bringing them to the room. And if it was a girl, they'll tell me to give my room up to her. Or if I had somebody with me and I had a John and I call myself splitting the John with them, they would try to get more than I had. Or they even try to take them, and I'll be like, 9 times out of 10, I got beat up all the time because I had a mouth. I got a mouth, and excuse my language, they said I was the worst hoe out there. They said because I didn't do what I was told when I was told how it was told. I was one of the ones that thought that I was better than everybody else. On my worst days, smelly days, I started smelling so bad sometimes that I didn't smell myself. When somebody make a crack, I was laughing too, thinking they was talking about somebody else because I didn't smell myself. And guys would still pick you up. So why would I think that I wasn't better than everybody else? They would invite, girls and stuff would invite you to, they say they house, but it was they pimp house that they would invite you to. When I try to, even in jail, you call yourself having somebody who you thought was just like you out there. But when they say, hey, my dude to pay your bail, watch out. You became his because you owed him. You know, it was so, I had no friends. I had people wanted to keep me right where I was at. So I had no friends.
I wasn't allowed to have friends if I got caught talking to any of the girls. The only time we was allowed to say something is like, how is it out here? But as far as in conversating, I never conversated with nobody. And that has impacted my life even till now. I don't have, unless I go to Renee Jones or go to my church, I don't even have people come over my house. And I noticed that even with my girls, my daughters, they don't even have friends come over. But I just hope it ain't for me. But I don't know. Some of the things that I could be my worst enemy sometimes.
I'm going to ask one more question, and then both Annette and Rachel felt strongly that they wanted to allow you to ask questions if you'd like. So I put up those slides in my introductory presentation about how this is not a nonviolent crime. The fact that the prostitution being a victimless crime is kind of a misnomer. How do you feel about that based on your experiences? I mean, I talked about the fact that there are all these studies that say that there's beatings, rapes, degradation, those type of things. Did that apply to you in your experiences? Can you talk about it a little bit, both maybe in your own experiences and what you witnessed other people suffering out on the streets, if you did witness that?
Well, yes, I did. I was raped a couple of times, which I guess I'm telling it now, huh? But I always thought it was my fault. I was beaten a lot of times. Like, I'm gonna tell you a secret, since we have to know these things. I was walking down the street one time, and this guy was saying, we gonna go behind the building. I said, behind the building, and it was just dark. And I said, no. He turned around and he punched me in my face so hard. I got a right here on my nose to today, and everybody asked me, did I have a nose ring? Somebody put it in my head, and I said, yeah. I was putting on my shirt, and I did that. I ripped my own nose. But actually, it was a giant that did it, because to find out that when I ran from him and everything, I was bleeding at the face and everything. The police came and found out he was raping a lot of the hoes. I never told nobody that, but we need to know this. That was a best kept secret to me about my face. Guys tried to start raping me, and I told them they don't want to do that because I got HIV. I don't. I really don't. But you found some guys that still did it because they didn't care. They didn't even use a condom. You know? Then you find I got beat up a lot of times from saying that, because they said, oh, you out here and you got HIV? I thought it would run them away. But it didn't. I got beaten anytime. I called myself moving with a guy who wasn't. He didn't use drugs, so I thought I was in a safe place. I should have thought something was wrong, because he allowed me to pay him $50 a week to be there. But if he had some money, he was gonna pay me to have sex. After a while, he started, I guess I could say today, he was my pimp. Because he started doing that, he broke my arm. He used to beat me. I used to run out the house. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I got beat up by girls. Got robbed by girls. They're no better than nobody else on the street, because it's a doggy world out there. If they didn't have it and you got it, and you got some money, and even the dope dealers, if you knew that they had bad stuff and you wouldn't buy it from them, they'll beat you up and still take your money. Or they'll sell you some stuff and you'll go back to them, dare to go back to them. I got beat up a lot. A lot.
My pimp one time beat me in New York for 10 blocks. A cab driver pulled over just to watch. There was people watching on the streets of New York, and then he put me down on the corner. The first guy that I got decided to cut the back of my throat and the side right here to try to rape me. The only one who tried to help me was a crack fiend underneath the bridge. He hit him with a pipe to get him off me. By the time I stood up, I was covered in blood, because also he rammed his hand down my mouth to try to rip my throat out because I was screaming. Also, a guy tied me up, and he told me that when I'm out in the streets, I won't get any business because of the burns on my legs. He burnt me with cigarettes, Till this day, I can still see the scars, but he also told me that whenever I look down on him, I will always remember his face, which I do. I have scars where I jumped out of cars. My pimp used to get me in the car, and when he would see other girls getting in the car, and if he asked me how much I had, and I'd give it to him, and I'd say, but it's slow out here, he'd bust me in my mouth, and he'd tell me, B, how can you say it's slow out here? And he'd smash my face up against the window. And also, what I wanted to say was, I forgot, just that quick.
It's okay, but I want y'all to know that everybody,
Oh, I remember.
okay, go ahead first, then I'll say something. Go.
What I want to say is this, about the rapes. I got raped so many times that I got so numb to it. And it's sad because I never knew how I was supposed to feel because he ruined that. Whenever I get beat up and you're right, I was bleeding from here, and Johns was just getting me, didn't care. But I'm wired different than you or you. And I hate that I went through this, but I'm glad that I'm here to tell you and educate all of you, even you up there. Okay.
I wanted to tell you that all these Johns didn't start out to be as bad as they was. They ended up. When I asked the question about the Johns, that's why I asked that question. It's more clean-cut Johns out there than fiends. They're really undercover fiends. They really are. They're worse than a fiend. They want us to go in these hotels, and they want us to put our names on the registration. They want us to get the tools for them. They want us to go the reason why they're in these low-cut hotels are because the drugs are there, and they don't want to be seen. And once they start getting high, they are monsters. They're a monster. So I came up with this thing as, I'm not gonna mess with a John that gets high. But the whole problem is, I didn't stop getting high. So who was fooling who?
So we're going to open it up to questions now. Just
I
wait
think
till you have a mic.
I can just, what stopped you? What made you stop?
Who?
Either one,
Oh.
both of you.
Here's what happened. I got put on probation, and I got put on intense drug probation in Summit County by Keyshia Smith. And she asked me, when was the last time you got high? I said, 20 minutes ago, please, by all means, lock me up, because I'm nothing but a crackhead fiend. She said, no. I was like, dang. So when I came back in, she said, when was the last time you got high? I said, 30 minutes ago, please. And I laid my head on her desk. I said, please look at me. I said, just do what the judge says and lock me up. I'm pitiful. I'm a menace. I'm no good out here. She said, no, but if you don't pay these fines, I'll lock you up. So I jumped up. I left her office. I said, how is she going to lock me up for not paying? I want her to lock me up for getting high. But anyways, what happened was I found out that I thought I was pregnant, and I came into her and I told her. She had talked to me, and she gave me hope, and I felt the love from her. And actually, she's the only one. I know her and another Akron police officer. He gave me hope. Because out of all them cops in Akron, he was the only one who would ever pull over on the side, ask me how I was, or anything. And he would always tell me, if you have the potential, I hope you make it out of this life. Him and another police officer would say, Mr. Matthews would say that, about you. But anyways, when I got pregnant with my twin girls, I got out the life. That's what got me out, when I found out I was pregnant. And I've been street clean, drug-free, going on 18 years.
Myself, I love you too. It might sound funny, but everybody is here got me clean, helped me stay clean. The Renee Jones Center, really, oh boy. In this life, I'll be clean. I'll go to jail. The probation didn't stop me. Nothing stopped me, because after I did everything, went to jail for a couple of months. I've been to prison twice. But when I came home, guess where I was going? Right back to where I knew. I went to court one day, and they put me in the fly program, Judge Cassidy courtroom. And Sister Cecilia was there. She gave a girl a t-shirt. And I said I wanted a t-shirt because it was something different. It's the difference that made. That's why I stayed clean, and I have something to look forward to. The next day, something positive. Going to jail, probation. It's not good for somebody to like going to jail, because I had a home. I had 3 meals. I didn't have to talk to nobody, because when I was in jail, I just read. And I don't even have a GED, but I learned how to read. Because all I did was read books. But I knew I would get out, and there's always somebody waiting for you to get you high, to get you started. But this time, the Renee Jones Center, what they had for me is a talk, some goodies, other women like me. See, I always deal with my addiction. I never deal with that I was a prostitute out there. I never deal, like they say, is stuff wrong, is more things that an addict has wrong with them. No one ever took the time with me. They, okay, you want to put me in treatment? I'll go through treatment. I've been through treatment so many times, I know how to do it. I do what I'm told. I've been on papers for over 10 years and never tested dirty. Never, because I knew how to do it after so long. The judge will let me out, I'll go across the street and I sign up. As the probation officer, I sign up to a probation officer that wasn't there that day. So when I get caught again in 6 months, they asked me why you didn't go see your probation officer. I said I did. They wasn't there. I signed the paper and tell them the judge's name. To the probation officer, so wasn't there. So wasn't nothing working for me. I wasn't dealing with the other problems that I had. So yes, it is a lot of things that go wrong with. It's not only the addiction. And I can say today, all y'all giving me something to go to. I'm always going somewhere. I have a mentor today. I'm getting tutored today for my GED. I'm doing so much. I'm doing so much, but it's not overwhelming. Understand? Overwhelming is going here, going there because the courts tell me to. I'm doing these things today because I want to. And I don't say, oh, I can go get my drugs every day. I don't put myself down like that no more. I don't consider that an option. I want to get up. I didn't want to get up and get them drugs. So people don't know that you have another life. I'm living a day. See, even when I had a job, a real good job that did that, I wasn't living because I was still on drugs. So I'm living a day. I'm really am. Thanks for asking that question. Man, that was a good question. It got me clear. Thank you.
Thank you both for the courage to share your stories with all of us. I'm very grateful. You kind of touched upon what I was going to ask, but so maybe I'll refine it a little bit. As I've talked to other victims, and the stories are, although, you know, they have kind of different facets to them, they're all so similar for other women that we've met, victims like you, and there are so many similarities. So, but one thing I consistently hear is how hard, as you're making that change out of the life, and like you were saying, you know, finding things to hold on to, how hard it was for the women to trust people because you were so accustomed to everybody always wanting something from you. So I admire you both for finding a way to overcome that, because that's a really powerful thing to overcome. But as for those of us that are trying to help women like you, can you tell us what can I do to help a victim trust that I don't want anything in return? I really just want to help you. And you kind of touched on some of this, like just, you know, having the things to focus on and places to be that are positive for you. But if you could say, what's one thing that's powerful to you for you to trust those of us that are trying to help victims? That's kind of a long question, but I hope it makes sense. It's something I hear consistently, that the trust, you know, is hard to overcome.
Me, myself, would ask them, like we always get asked, what do we want to do? We don't get asked many times what we want to do. We be told what to do. It's a big difference. It's a big difference, because being told that you got to go here and do that, what about after you finished doing what you be told to do? What are you going to do then? But if you've been asked what you want to do, like I said, my greatest thing today is to get a GED. That is, oh my goodness. And today I'm being helped doing that. Nobody's telling me what to do, but the only way I was able to, what keeps me sober and clean is because I'm out of IOP and stuff now. I'm out of all that, what they're telling me to do. I got something to look forward to after I get out of IOP. Because I remember getting out of drug treatment, and I sit up there and used to say, now what? And then I'm like, what am I going to do now? My sister, I was living with my sister said, why are you in there sleeping so much? I said, I don't know, I'm out of IOP. So I don't have to get up every day. She was proud of me because I was getting up every day. But then when IOP was over and I got off the papers and everything, I never realized that I had a life to live without someone telling me what to do. But when they asked me what I want to do, and I knew I wanted to get a GED, that's what I'm doing. I get up I want to do it. I have a plan. I have goals. Not only the goals for right there for the moment. So if, and you know, until today, I live in transitional housing, and I still ask the girls, what do y'all want to do when you get out of here? We can't stay here forever. What are we going to do? You know, not just for the moment. So asking me what I want to do, what I want to be, that's the best thing, because now, you know, I know that you know I got a mind. That's, for me, that's the best thing for me. And that's why I trust. I trust now because I can think now. I'm being helped to think, and nobody's trying to converse me to do something they want me to do. I'm doing what I want to do today.
I don't have really a question, but a comment. I observed that both of you indicated that what really began to change in your life was somebody showed genuine affection. One said, I know she loved me. And I think that's important. I want you to know that we all love you. And you will be in my prayers for a long time. And I thank you for the courage to come here and share with us, because I know that helping someone else is always on the road to recovery. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Is there any way, or was there a way that your family looked for you or was involved at all, especially in the beginning when you were missing? Was there any time that a lawyer, since we're lawyers and it's a legal seminar, that a lawyer could have helped you along the way that you've encountered in the process? Any lawyer that could have guided you or directed you, or were you just treated coldly and just dismissed, or how did that go?
My family was always there for me. My mom always kept a Greyhound bus ticket at Greyhound bus station. Because when I got of age, I always went to their house, but I got so brainwashed to the streets that when they tried to give me that love, I got claustrophobic of it. But they never, my dad would come get me. He came and got me, I think in Northfield, when I got arrested down there. He came and got me in Canton. My dad always came and got me. He's called the police. The police, back in that time, they weren't like they are now. And, yeah. But they were always there for me.
The lawyers.
Well, I have things with the lawyers.
Except for Maureen.
Right. The lawyers for me, they was my best friend, because I got to know the system too, and I got to know if I was on probation. They were working with the courts. I had courts. I knew. I said, go on and take your $800, just get me out. Because I just wanted to get back out on the street. And then after all that happened, here comes Maureen, Miss Kenny. Here come her, and she says, what's going on? She asked me, she talked to me. She didn't say anything about my addiction. She just asked me how could she help me. She didn't say, I don't even know if she knew I had addiction. I don't even know if she'd seen my record. I thought I was a legend. I thought my record was so bad that when she asked me about all this going on, I'm like, somebody gonna have to have a lot of paper. But she brought my record to me, and I'm like, I guess I was a legend in my own mind. I done had the best time with Maureen. Miss Kennedy, I guess, maybe I'll be a lawyer. I don't know.
Ladies, would you talk about how your life is now? How do you spend your time? I know you both have mentors, and maybe you could talk a little bit about that because we have some possible mentors in this room. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the value of that for you in particular, without naming names, and talk about, the sort of things that you face today as a survivor, not being a victim anymore.
I have a mentor. I go to the Renee Jones Empowerment Center. I love Renee Jones. I love Sister Cecilia. They've helped me through a lot. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not going to sugarcoat my life. I was 15 years on the street, and I'm going to tell you what. Every day for me is a struggle because I go through PTSD, severe depression, bipolar, and I'm not going to sit here and lie and make you think that I go through my day all happy, because I don't, and I struggle daily. And sometimes I sit here when I go through my depression, there's like a little Rachel inside wanting to bust out and just have fun and say, hey, but just my outside is like dying. And then sometimes I sit there when I'm going through my depression, I sit here and I wonder, what if I never went through that stuff? What would I have been like? What would I have been if I didn't go through that? If I didn't go through what he did to me, But I do a lot of prayer. I go to Renee's faithfully. And depression isn't just being sad. I'm talking, this depression hurts. If nobody knows what depression is, and bipolar mixed in with it, and then plus the PTSD, it's agonizing, because I don't just sit there at home. I push myself to get up because I don't want my girls to see me like that. And I was just talking to the young lady up there by the steps up there. I was telling her about my GED. And somebody discouraged me years ago when I wanted to get my GED. And they told me, you are so far behind. You have a second grade level in math. And it's going to take you so long to get your GED, I probably won't even be here by the time you get it. And I just looked at him like, and the lady who was more or less my girls' mentor was a teacher at their school. She was like, Rachel, if you don't pass this test, I'm gonna take it for you. But God rest her soul, she passed away. She was a teacher for Woodbridge. And that kind of like really threw me back. And I want to make sure my girls graduate, because I didn't. And yeah, and I just want to tell you guys, human trafficking is devastating on someone. And I really don't like to show my disorders and my sadness, because I don't want to seem like a Debbie Downer sometimes, or, or take somebody's fun. But some people really got to know. I don't want to seem like, oh, you got to watch what you say around Rachel, but sometimes be kind to people. Watch what you say to people and how you say it, because you never know what somebody went through in life. That might be somebody just walking down the street. You never know what somebody went through in life to where you could impact them and hurt them like sticking a knife in them. Always try to make somebody smile daily, for real, no matter what. Do you hear that up there? Listen. No, I'm just kidding. Youngins.
Well, we're going to wrap it up because we're a little bit over time. I want to thank.
I'm sorry.
I want to thank Annette and Rachel so much for sharing with us today. Again, that took so much courage and bravery to share their story with us. And then we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we will reconvene.